Hi, everybody. Yeah, I want to talk to you about something that might be controversial to some, and to some of those who know me for the most part. No. Okay. I want to talk to you about two amons. Two amons. Now, Ammon is a name from a book of scripture that is called the Book of Mormon, or Aklat de Mormon, or liberal de Mormon, depending on the dialect, or liberal liberal de Mormon, or Aklat de Mormon. Anyways, the and you might say, oh, that's just a bunch of stuff that Joseph Smith wrote, or whatever. That's hopefully you can get past that, because that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point is that it's a story about two people named Ammon from slightly two different times. And one was a group of people that went out to look for friends of theirs. He was with a group that was looking for friends and family of theirs that left, that wanted for a group that left a little while ago before that, so they can re-inherit their old place of inheritance of where their original family was from. Our ancestors were from, and they wanted to go back and reclaim it. And they did end up finding that group, but it was after they were on the run, and after they were trying to get away from, they had converted back to their traditional ways of following God, and they were being persecuted by the most part of the population of where they were staying at, and they were being ruled by an evil king, and they were trying to separate themselves from that king, and at the same time they were at war with another tribe or another people that they're actually ancestors of each other, and a mixture of other people that came there. These are about people that lived in the Americas, North, Central, and South America, and it was it was from two people that came from Jerusalem, two separate groups of people, and also a slew of Asians and others that came to America. This is before the Vikings, of course. And so we got a mixture of all types of people. And for some reason, the group that was deemed had dominion, or given the right to have any type of leadership, were from a certain group of people that were ancestors of Jews, for whatever reason. I don't, they all agreed, okay, you guys were apparently here first before all of us, and you both have somewhat a knowledge of how to grow crops, and how to cultivate crops, and how to build buildings, and all that other stuff. So, except for each group was distinctly different. One had a very loose set of rules. I mean, yeah, they were governed, don't be a jerk, but at the same time, live however you want. Others had a little more strict set of rules, and they lived by the law of Moses. Anyways, so you had one group trying to find another group, And one among them was Ammon, and he found that group of people. And so you had him and the group of people who he found. They were on the run. They were running not only from the ones who were evil and that they converted, but they were also running from the ones that were already their enemies, so to speak. So you had the Nephites and the Lamanites, and the Lamanites, which were also their ancestors, they were chasing after them, and they were on the run from also the ones who wanted to keep control of their kingdom. So anyways, so this Ammon found them while they're on the run, and they got captured by the Lamanites. And so during their captivity, they found a way, after being punished and after being captured and being kept as slaves for a while, they managed to escape and get away. But they went through a lot to get away. They had to endure, first they tried to attack them 3 times, and each time they failed, even though they were righteous, so to speak, and that they converted back to, following God. They failed each time. And so they're like, okay, obviously God's not going to help us defeat him this way. So what happened was that they ended up causing the guards to get drunk, and they finally escaped from being under bondage. And then after they escaped, they turned to Ammon and said, hey, you know what? We don't have a spiritual leader. You seem to be someone who's of authority. For some reason, they recognized him as someone that had spiritual authority, or someone who should be recognized as that. For whatever reason, he came across that way, or they knew him from before, or whatever, or knew his father, or whatever, or their uncle, or whatever, whatever it was. And he declined. I said, no, I can't baptize you because I don't feel worthy to do that. I don't feel like I can do that for you. And for whatever reason, he felt that way. So they had to wait. And he had a great experience, but at the same time, he missed out on doing something that was even more important. And so then you had the other Ammon later that was a convert that used to hang out. He used to be in a bad group of people, with his brothers and some other guy that his name was Alma, and they're a bad group of dudes. Okay, and then they got converted, and they turned down becoming king. They were brothers, and so they were all in line to be either king or somewhere in that line, and all of them turned it down because they wanted to be missionaries. So anyways, this Alman, for some reason, he wasn't with anybody. I think it was probably because of the odd number of people. And so he was like, oh, well, it looks like it'd be kind of weird to have 3 of us go together. We can cover more ground if I go on my own. So he went on his own, and he ran into the ones he was looking for. They captured him, put him in prison, beat him, whatever, brought him before the king, and then he offered his services. The king was happy with that. He took out their rival tribe that was next to him, their rival city or whatever, and took out the people that were trying to steal their flocks, that they would do this all the time. And the king was happy about that. And so after a while of the king being impressed by this person and being impressed by his words and how he was, and that he thought, oh, he must be a god or something, or the Great Spirit. And so he was like, hey, you know what? I want to join your group. So Ammon later was able to convert them and was able to baptize them because he was ready to do that, and he was able to do and be a part of their conversion, and he was blessed with that privilege. And the whole point of this is that both Ammons were good people. Both Ammons had noble purposes in life. That after they were asked to do something by God, and were whether directly by God or through some other, because the first Ammon was part of a group to go after, hey, we got to go check up on our ancestors and our friends. And the other Ammon wanted to go after another form of ancestors and a mixture of other people, and see if he can convert them as he was converted. And both had noble missions in life. They all both had, and they both did it fearlessly, and they both wanted to do the right thing. The difference was one was ready for what they wanted to do, and the other one wasn't. Now, you can argue about being worthy and all that other stuff, and have the doctrinal debate. And to me, that's important. And to me, and for me, I believe that involves that just because you're a good person isn't enough. It's not enough to just be a good person. You have to go beyond what's expected and live a life that has higher standards, and also to do it not because you feel you have to, but because you want to, and that's who you are, and that's who you want to be. And so, but to put that aside, whenever we take on anything in life, there's always going to be something that will come along that will push us to our limits. That if we're not prepared for it, whether it be spiritually or just plain old just experience, if we think we're ready to handle something and we're not, it'll be evident. It'll be evident. So, just think about it. You gotta be prepared, man. You gotta be prepared out there. You can either be the first Ammon, have a heart and want to go out there, but have something come along and you're not ready to help in that part of it. And then you have the second Ammon Not only did he have the heart, but he was ready for anything. Of course, he didn't know if he was going to convert any of them, because that was a plan from the very beginning, and it failed every time. But he still had a heart for it, and he didn't know he was going to be a servant of the king. He didn't know he was going to fight off rival tribes of that particular group of people. He didn't know what he was going to do, but he was prepared. He was prepared. He knew how to handle a sword. He knew, he knew that he should be ready to talk about the gospel. He knew he needed to have scriptures memorized. He knew he had to be able to defend his faith and to have an understanding of it. He was ready to baptize people if he had to. And you can apply that even if you are an atheist or just a spiritual. You can apply that to anything. That you need to be ready. You can't just have the desire to do something. That helps. But you also have to be ready to take on any challenge, to know how to handle something. So yeah, just be aware. Don't think just because you have a burning desire to do something that you're ready. David didn't take down Goliath just because he had great faith. He practiced slinging that sling. He practiced throwing those rocks. And he hit live targets before. And he took on a bear. And he took on a lion. So he had life experience. And he was ready. And he lived a life to where he could communicate to God. He lived a life to where he felt confident in what he was doing. So, whether you believe in God or not, this is still applicable. But I think it gives you an advantage if not only are you prepared in the world sense, but prepared spiritually. Man, you can do anything that you put your heart to, and you feel that you have a desire to do. So yeah, be the second amon. Be the second amon, or to where you're. Not only is it in your heart, not only are you a good person, but you took the steps in order to take on whatever it is you want to take on, and you're prepared. You're prepared to meet whatever challenges it may come to you. All right. Have a blessed day. All right. Love you. Bye.